Hi, this is Ben Wilson, and I want to welcome you to another video tip from the Affordable Real Estate Coaching Program. We work with you to help you quickly and easily build your real estate business using affordable, quite often free tools and lead sources to help you get your business up and running without spending a fortune in the process. So today's one of the tips that's going to be real important in that process, and we're going to teach you how to get practically unlimited number of motivated seller leads coming automatically into either your email box or a Google Sheet from Craigslist. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And so we're going to start out at the website called IFTTT.com. And I'm here right now. IFTTT stands for If This, Then That. And basically it's just a process that combines two programs on the internet to do a variety of things. And so one of the things that we're going to do is have it kind of scrape Craigslist based upon some keywords that we're going to do in a Craigslist search, and then it'll automatically, whenever those new leads come available, they're going to populate they're either going to send you an email or populate a line in a Google spreadsheet. So let's get started. I'm assuming you have not worked with IFTTT before, so we're going to go ahead and go through the complete process. And first step is to set up an account. So I'm just going to set up an account with one of my emails that I haven't used with IFTTT before, and go ahead and whoops, let's try signing up. Here we go. So then we create the account. Okay, so the first thing you do is you pick this, and this is the source of the information. And so again, in this case, we're going to pick from Craigslist. And okay, so it's just actually showing kind of a couple of examples that you could use it for if you wanted to get an email or a text message every time it rained, or the day before actually it's going to rain. I actually have set one of these up because I like to get an email the day before, the day ahead of any kind of rain or snow in the forecast. So okay, so now the first thing you need to do once you set up your account is you pick up select some channels that interest you. Basically, we're just going to pick these three right here: Craigslist, Gmail, and Google Drive. And again, there's tons of others. As an example, you could have your leads go to Evernote if you're an Evernote user, and as you know from some of my other videos, we love Evernote. But today we're just going to demonstrate using Google Drive primarily, but you could also send it with Gmail. So it's just coming up and shows you and again, you can kind of, at your leisure, flip through here and you can see, I mean, it can do a lot of different interesting things combining two different programs. But we're going to focus on, as I mentioned, doing the Craigslist searches for us. So first we'll click on My Recipes. And of course, since we haven't created any, we need to now create a recipe. And a recipe is just the process of selecting an item from the first program, that's the this, and then sending it to a second program, that's the that. So the this, we want to select the Craigslist channel. So click on that. And then a new post from search. So basically what it's going to do is do a search, and anytime, every day it'll run this, and anytime that there's a new search in that URL, it'll populate a Google spreadsheet or send you an email. So first thing we got to do is we got to get the search results URL. So we're going to jump over to Craigslist. And this should be for your local market, so make sure whatever your local market is, that's what you're doing the search on, and that's what's coming up in this top box here. So, for example, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a search for houses that are for sale. So we're going to go into the real estate for sale. And what we're doing is we're looking for certain keywords that motivated sellers often use to indicate that they're motivated. Now, savvy sellers and wholesalers also use those words, so you'll need to do some filtering out as part of this process, but it's a good starting point and a great way to get some leads, some people for you to talk to, and they cost you absolutely nothing in the process. So some of the words that I typically use are motivated, and then in between each of these words you're going to put what's called the pipe, and it's a line that's straight up and down. On my keyboard it's in the upper right hand corner below the delete key. As you can see, it's just a straight line. Another one would be probate. Someone might mention the word probate in their ad. Another one would be must sell. When you have two words, you want to put quotes around it just to limit it to those two words. Let's see, what are some of the others? Fire damage is another one that I use. Job relocation. And divorce. And those are the main ones. There's certainly, you can put a bunch in. Obviously, it also helps if you learn how to spell correctly, which I obviously need help with. So this is going to return all the ads within this local market of Craigslist that have those words that in the house for sale section. You can further filter this or refine this. One thing we'll often do is under housing type. If depending on what areas we're working on, we may make some selections there. Otherwise, it's going to return every housing type. So we'll just leave that as it is for right now, just to get an idea of what it's going to return. So once you've entered that, click on the search, the little magnifying glass, and that will initiate that search. And so here you can see all the different ads that have included those words, and some are clearly I don't think this particular house here in Rancho Bernardo is probably something that we're going to wholesale. Looks like it's in pretty good shape, yet they've indicated that they're a motivated seller. So you're going to have to filter through these to get the ones that we're really interested in. But nevertheless, it's a good tool to get you some good leads, to get you to start talking to people if that's something that you're trying to do, which we should all be trying to do, because the more sellers we talk to, the more offers we make, the more likely that we're going to find some deals in the process. So anyway, so this is the search result in Craigslist. Now what you want to do is you want to go up into the URL for this particular search. Once you've completed the search and you see all those different items on there, you want to go up there and you want to highlight the complete URL, and then you want to copy it. So you want to do Control C on a Windows machine, Command C on a Mac. Once you have that, then we go back to this trigger field in IFTTT, and you paste it in there. So it's Control or Command V for paste. And there, we've created the trigger. So what that's going to do is anytime that returns a new item, so it's not going to give you all the ones that are in there right now, but starting forward, it'll give you those. And again, now you select that. And in this case, as I mentioned, you've got a few different options. You could click on email. You could email it to yourself every time there's a new lead. You could have an Evernote note created every time in your Evernote system every time there's a new lead. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a Google Drive spreadsheet. So every time there's a new lead, and here I just have to authorize IFTTT to connect with this. With this Google Drive account associated with my email. So I'm going to allow that. And then get out of that. And we'll continue on the process. And so choosing the action, the one you want is to add a row to a spreadsheet. So click on that. Now, what I typically do is I'm working in a few different markets. So I typically name the spreadsheet the name of the market. So as you saw when I was doing those before, I'm going to put in something like San Diego. Now, you're probably only working one market, at least initially. That's probably all you should be. But you could do that. You could do the city. You could call it anything you wanted. You could call it Craigslist leads. Whatever you want that spreadsheet to be called. So in fact, I'm even going to just go ahead and do Craigslist leads. So that's going to this is what this is going to do is it's going to create a brand new spreadsheet called Craigslist leads. But it's only going to do that one time. So then in the future, each new lead is going to go on that same spreadsheet. The other thing I do is it's showing you the formatted row. So each row is going to contain the following columns from the ad: the post title, the post content, the post URL, the date it was published, and the feed title, which is, we'll get to in a minute. It's the title you're going to give this right now. Sometimes I even add and I put 3 pipes, and then I can add a column, and you can call this source whatever you want. So I would put San Diego motivated sellers, and that way, especially because what I also then do is I have other searches running for San Diego populating the same spreadsheet, so that way I can see where each particular lead came from. And this just then creates this next one, drive folder path. I just do Craigslist. I don't want to, it's just the path within your Google Drive, so I simplify it and just call it Craigslist. And you don't even need to do that if you want it to appear at the top at the main directory of your Google Drive. And if you're not familiar with Google Drive, I'll probably do a video on that shortly. If you're not familiar, it's very easy. It's just Google Drive is just a drive in the cloud for you to put files in. You should be familiar with it because that's where we put the coaching notes information from the coaching program. So if you're a student of mine, you obviously know at least that much about Google Drive. So now we're going to create the action, and then this is just kind of confirming what we're doing. So we're going to create and connect. If Craigslist, if there's a new search result from that search that we entered, then it's going to add a row to the spreadsheet in my Google Drive. Now, I always change this title because, again, I've got a bunch of these, so I want it to be a little more specific than what the generic recipe title that they have is. So I just generally call it Craigslist Motivated Sellers, and then San Diego, and then we'll create the recipe. Okay, so the recipe has been created. Now you can see here it was created less than a minute ago, and it's never been run. So I don't know how long it takes. Usually I come back the next day. And so then you can look in your Google Drive, and it will have created this spreadsheet and started to populate it with some results. So that's all there is to it. That's how you quickly and easily, and it'll continue to run. So you should continue to check that spreadsheet on a regular basis, and it'll build a nice little list of motivated sellers for you to call. And you'll need, as I said, you'll need to go through and there's going to be a lot of wholesalers in there, a lot of other generic sellers who have houses they've fixed up and are in beautiful condition that probably are not going to be something that fit our needs, but you never know. So again, it should give you, but there should also be some really good leads of some houses that need some work, some distressed or some motivated situations that would be good for us to contact those sellers and see if we can help them out. So that's your tip for today from the Affordable Real Estate Coaching Program. Be sure and click on the link below if you'd like more information on the program. Thanks and have a great day.